Brown from Full Spectrum Living, and I was guided to have a little conversation today about something that I experienced lately, something that I really learned, a lesson that I really anchored into my being, into my mental and feeling world, and I'm being guided to share it because I think it'd be beneficial for everybody. If you encountered the opportunity to what I call harmonize the noise in your life. What do I mean by that? I'm talking about the sound of silence. I've been healing the last couple months, some intense healing, doing some great deep energy work healing. And that's given me the opportunity to have to be still and have to be silent. Well, I didn't have to be, but I'm pretty in tune and listening to my spirit. And I've been at home. I haven't been able to leave the house and go work, but I've been at home. And over these last 2 months, instead of watching TV and being in that noise, I've really been guided to just be. Whether it be on the couch or on the chair or just sitting outside on the porch, really just in silence. And any kind of noise has not felt good to me. It hasn't sounded good to me. And I feel those things. So that's kind of what the topic is about today. Listening to that inner nudge, even though it's so slight of a nudge. Really listening to that. If your body tells you in its own way that it's uncomfortable with certain noises or certain sounds, and dare I even say the sound or the feeling of certain people or certain activities in your life. Here's what I mean by that. If we take, for example, an orchestra, beautiful orchestra, of all kinds of different sounds, noises, instruments. They all uniquely have their own vibration or sound, which I'm going to refer to as vibration. So as we're listening to the complete compilation of this orchestra or symphony, what we hear is one united sound, which then we say, oh, that's that song. So if we refer to the song that we hear as like the song of our life, where there's so many instruments and so many unique things being played that we are processing in our body, in our mind, in our spirit, we kind of just lump all that into the song. What I realized and what I got to experience really intensely, which is very beautiful over this time of healing over the last couple months, is this. When I got to complete silence for a while, and then I was able to, for example, check an email that was from work, I would notice in myself a certain resonance in my body. It felt to me almost a little bit of like anxiousness or anxiety. And I would notice that. And I was like, oh, I don't like that feeling. And it's ever so slight. And then I would go back to my silence. And then I would experience that again say, an email from a certain person. And the emails aren't abnormal. They're normal communication. They are positive communication, things we need done. The normal transactions of everyday life. But what I found was in the sound of silence, it's almost like when you pick that, when you're tuning a guitar or a saxophone. I play the saxophone, so So I know when you hit a wrong note, that just does not sound good. It does not sound right. So when you feel that vibration or that inharmony or that discord in your body that resonates immediately from a very specific instrument or chord or note you're playing, or, now let's refer back to your life, an email or an activity or a person, notice what your body is trying to tell you. And you can take that opportunity to harmonize those notes, or perhaps you will choose that note by itself. See, in the big orchestra of life's noise, we might not be able to hear that one little specific instrument's discord. See, if we went instrument by instrument in this orchestra and we heard a saxophone just like mess up a note, or we knew that we didn't want the saxophone in there anymore, we could take it out of that orchestra. If something was playing out of tune, like on a guitar, and it was a bad note, it was not in tune, we could adjust that tune, or we could decide not to play that string anymore. But this only comes from when we can really get down to the silence and hear each of those individually. So that is the power of silence, and returning back to little portions of your life at a time. Oftentimes, when we were trying to multitask, which I am a big multitasker, when we multitask, we're dividing our attention and our energy and our experiences amongst different things, which I think gives us a bit of a disadvantage sometimes when trying to say, hey, is this healthy for me? Is this in the right tune with what my spirit wants to harmonize at as a whole? Does interacting with this person add to the beauty of the symphony of my life? Or is this person a chord of discord, a chord of disharmony? And from there you can make a good decision on how do you want that discord in your symphony moving forward. But if you never get the chance to feel or learn or see or hear from your higher self that is a point of discord, then you would be at a disadvantage, and at no fault of your own, you would not get to make those decisions for your life. For me, I was able to point out or grasp a few circumstances in which, hey, that chord doesn't feel right, and I am being totally focused on enhancing and holding the harmony within my spiritual space right now. That's what's important to me. And so if something is discordant when it plays in my life, I can choose to just not go down that path anymore, or not let that activity of my life be a part of my life anymore, because that's important to me. So I wanted to share this because it was really, really, really good learning for me. And I know that it could be a good learning for anyone else who wants to take the time to embody that feeling, that lesson. That's why silence is so important. This is just one of the reasons why silence is so important. Because when the stillness of silence is not just silence in your ear, it's silence in your spirit. Because when we hear things, when we see things, when we participate in things in life, our body has to take all of that in and process it for our mind, our spirit, our body, our whole life. And so our whole body is absorbing these frequencies or these vibrations or these tunes of each string of life that we're playing. And only in the silence do you get to start deciphering the vibration or the tune or the harmony of each of those moving parts of your life. So I encourage times of silence, times of stillness and silence, to perhaps get to know yourself a little bit better, perhaps get to know what things feel good to you, what things your higher self are calling you to do more of or to do less of. I hope that this video is helpful, and thank you for listening. And I hope that God blesses you with the complete abundance and desires of your heart. God bless.